Hello, my name is Joel Magalnick. I'm a college instructor remotely for an Introduction to Communications course that I've been doing over the past couple of years. One of the things I've done over that time is work on honing the methods that I deliver my course, and I really would love to be able to share that with you as a teacher or a professor who needs to do this for the first time. I know that often you are used to being in the classroom and meeting with students face to face, and we've got a new situation that we're in now. And so we need to change the way that we deliver our courses. So what I'm doing is creating a series of videos that you can use in order to be able to keep the style that you have in delivering your course, but really cheaply, hopefully easily, figure out a way to move your class online as long as we are not able to be in the classroom to teach our students. So the thing that's really important is that you do keep the style that your students know and love, or at least appreciate about you, because you want to have that same level of consistency that you have been using over your career in order to be able to create this level of learning and knowledge that your students need in order to learn whatever it is that you're teaching. So how are things going to be different? Well, for one thing, you're not going to have those annoyances of a kid getting up and walking out of class right in the middle without any warning, or people passing notes or whispering or otherwise being disruptive. On the other hand, so many of you, I know, got into teaching because you value that face-to-face interaction with your students. You love to be there for them, you love to answer their questions, you like to be active in their learning process. And that's something that is changing now, for sure, but it's also the reality, at least for the next several months. And therefore, the way that you deliver your course is going to have to be different. So what I'm going to offer in this series of videos is tools that hopefully you can get at cheap, low, or no cost, whether that's borrowing equipment or using free online tools that are available any day anyway. And also have you think about ways that you can mix up the way that you teach, so you can break up any sort of monotony that you get from just standing in front of a camera and droning on, kind of like I'm doing for you right now. Some of the things that you should be doing are mixing stuff up. So I'm sure that you often get your students to read, and you should still get your students to read. There are videos that you can get. You can find them on YouTube, for example, that can augment the classroom. They can be entertaining, they're educational, and they can provide a lot of balance, maybe a little bit of levity to situations, in particular if things are feeling pretty serious at the moment. These videos from a more social sciences or humanities perspective could be about current events. It could be perhaps grammar learning, anything like that. You could do it from a more scientific perspective or mathematics, that you could have university experts who are teaching classes or looking at equations in different ways, or scientific protocols in different ways, and have them be a part of the class as well. And it gives students a totally different way to think about some of the things that you might be talking at them in the classroom. You could also look at podcasts, which can be entertaining but also very, very educational, as another way for them to be thinking about how you disseminate the information in your classroom. Of course, you want them to be producing as well. You can't just have them consuming during this time. And so, of course, you want them to be writing. And the writing can be done in response to these articles or videos, anything additional that you're asking the class to do. But it does get them engaged and gets their brains moving. If you are doing more mathematical or scientific endeavors in your class, then perhaps having them work on equations and do it live together as a cohort, that could be a way for them to continue writing and getting their brains moving. Also think about ways that you can be more creative with the lesson plan that you're creating. I have one friend who teaches journalism at the university level, and she's basically thrown her curriculum out the window right now. Because she's had to move online, she has gotten her students to treat this as actually journalistic enterprises and figure out ways that the campus administration, the students, faculty have all had to scramble and change the ways that they operate and how they're getting by, how they are making those changes in ways that it's hopefully benefiting and allowing the student body to move forward toward the end of the term so they can complete their studies. Or perhaps if you are teaching science or math, you can find ever-changing active data sets and use those to extrapolate on things that are going on out in the world and give those students a real-world understanding of how the data might be used, and they can use that to gather insights and really create projects that could be useful going forward, not just for them or the inside the capsule of your classroom, but maybe useful for the outside world as well. Sometimes you need to mix things up a little bit. Just give yourself a little change of scenery. Just make sure when you do that you're really well lit. So one of the reasons I changed things up is because I wanted to talk about how you change things up for your students themselves too, because you want to continue to have those interactions with them. That means you need to meet them where they are. So when you're having two-way conversations, what are they doing with their phones? If they want to respond to you, could they respond using things like audio or video? Just make sure that you're focusing on the interactions. If you're having issues of accessibility, if you have any students with special needs in your classes, or if you're having low-income students that need to make sure they can get access to your classes, think about what you can do if the students don't have a computer at home. Libraries are not really an option if they're not open. So, are there ways that you can reach them through their phones by making sure that the courses that you're teaching are accessible and easy to look at when they've got their phones on them? Because it does feel like most people do at least have a good working smartphone with them. What other things can you think about so you're keeping things equal? And let's talk about accessibility. If your students have trouble hearing, what can you do so you're closed captioning these videos or creating transcripts so they can read and keep along and make sure that they're getting all the information you're giving them? If they are sight impaired or blind, can you create extra audio so they're able to hear everything that you're doing and have some sort of ways to get descriptions of any actions that you're taking on the screen in your videos so they're able to keep up with that? So these are all things to think about as you move your classes online and use video as one of your solutions to reach your students. I do ask you to stick with me. There should be some really helpful tips and tricks to get you started. Remember, again, we're not looking for top quality here. We really just want you to have the tools that you need to focus on your students and do it easily and quickly and in a way that is going to get them what they need so we can continue learning. Thank you.